His covenant is entirely God's responsibility. He's completely ready to forgive. He's not demanding anything of us whatsoever. So I was thinking, as I thought about forgiveness, the different ways that it's displayed. If we say that we're talking about speaking to forgive, I think of a show that I saw last week. It was a kind of a talk show, and a fellow was on the talk show that, really a few years ago, he did something that was, pretty offensive to a lot of people. If I were to mention it, you'd remember it. And here's the talk show host, has him on, and he knows that this fellow has to make a living. And there's only one thing that this, he's sort of TV personality, had his problem with saying. There's only one thing he can do, and he's doing it. He's being an actor. That's all he can do. He has to make a living. So here's the talk show host, has him on, talks to him kindly, helps him to promote his new, it's a play, he's in a play, I think he owns a theater now. And it's a good time. What grace, that's what I thought. What a show of, what a model of forgiveness. And a show of help for this fellow who really was in need. And we sang today, let the weak say they are strong, let the poor say I am rich. Here is a talk show host who is helping a weak person say that he is strong. He's giving this fellow a boost. And I appreciate that very much. I saw a clip from a Mickey Mantle interview. Now, Mickey Mantle had a real problem with alcohol. It became pretty well known at some point. Nevertheless, great slugger, great hitter. And his wife had the same problem. But, so he was on the talk show. And this was years ago. I don't know when Mickey Mantle passed away, but he passed away Christian. His wife led him to the Lord. Somebody had talked to his wife, and she said, guess what? Listen to what I heard. And so when Mickey Mantle called his buddy Bobby Richardson, who had witnessed to him many times, a member of the Yankees team, second baseman, he called him into the hospital. Bobby Richardson was thinking, okay, maybe Mick wants to trust Jesus. But when Bobby came in, he said, hey, guess what I did? And he had already trusted the Lord. Well, there was a time when Mickey Mantle had a hard time earning a living. He spent a lot, and he ended up being a casino representative. He's sort of a greeter at a casino, a high-profile greeter at a casino. He was on a talk show about that point. I think he was on a talk show probably because he needed money. And he said, the talk show host said, you had a little trouble drinking, didn't you? You had a little trouble drinking. Bring it right up. And Mick said, there were about 5 or 6 games that I was a little bit under the weather. And the talk show host would let him off the hook. Kept up with him for a little while. I'll tell you, let's just not do that to people. If we know they have issues, let's let them off the hook. Whether they are the most saintly believer we know, or somebody who may someday be a believer, but isn't quite yet. When I think about, Mickey Mantle's on my mind here. He's on the cover of this picture, How to Be an Assertive Christian. I put it there, speaking the truth in love. And I put things that I love there. I put Mickey Mantle there, I saw him hit an inside the park home run at Yankee Stadium. The ball rattled around behind the monuments. Buckwheat pancakes. Like buckwheat pancakes. Empire State Building. And really a very lovely cross there. And it's kind of smaller, but its potency is really large in my mind as I look at this. As we think about forgiveness and being forgiven, let's think about, let's relate it to things that we love. Things that we really love, whether it's chai tea, something as simple as that. Maybe that symbolizes something to you. Whether it's a certain pillow, whether it's a house you lived in your youth. Forgiveness is just about the best thing going. We can pick anything good and relate it to forgiveness. It could be a great metaphor to forgiveness. We have outside our house a lipstick hibiscus. And that means that the hibiscus blossoms in a bright red. It's kind of a Marilyn Monroe red. It's really bright. And those blossoms, they'll come out every day, and they have about a 24-hour life. Every day, but every day there are new blossoms. I think we can think of forgiveness like that too. Every day we can see the beauty of new blossoms of forgiveness. Let's fix our mind on that. We can fix our mind on Jesus, and as we do so, in a way, we're fixing our mind on what he did too, what he got for us, what he wants for us, what he does for us daily. That forgiveness. So when I read this passage in Hebrews chapter 12, I just felt kind of a blow as I thought about the difference. The trembling of Mount Sinai, which I'm sure God used to symbolize that, this is something fearful, and to set people thinking about another way, the way of forgiveness even then. But I think about that, and then I think about the thousands of angels. We're brought into the presence of thousands of rejoicing angels. And, funny, we don't see them around. We don't see them around here. But here they are. Probably a whole bunch of them right in the neighborhood. Maybe in here even. And so I think, what a contrast. You have come to thousands upon thousands of angels in joyful assembly. That's where we are now. You've come to God, the judge of all men, to the spirits of righteous men made perfect. And we can think of ourselves certainly we can think of ourselves as righteous in Christ's blood. And we can think of ourselves as people that God is busily in the presence of making perfect. We've come to Jesus, the mediator of a new covenant, and to the sprinkled blood that speaks a better word than the blood of Abel. So with that, let's go to our contemplation